Emily, did you have any inside jokes with your classmates?
Oh, so many. School is the time.
Yeah,
where you're like,
it is, isn't it?
This is a joke that you don't get. That's just for us. There was someone in my graduating class who got accepted to one of the Ivy League schools and was proud of it, rightfully. Mm-hmm. But he just made sure everybody knew. Everyone. Always.
Yeah.
So it sort of became like a running joke among all of us to be like, did you know that he's going to that school?
Oh my gosh.
And then react as if it's new information. And we all laughed. It was funny at the time.
I mean, listen, I could get a part of that. Let's do it now. Tell me.
Say his full first and last name.
Yeah, full first and last name, address, and what his occupation is now.
Yeah. I don't know the answers to most of those questions. Haven't spoken to him since graduation.
Fair.
Probably before that. Fun fact, he and I were very close friends in elementary school, and then he just stopped being friends with me. So it's
he became smart because of it.
I guess I participated in that inside joke out of personal bitterness.
Wow. It was less an inside joke and more closure.
Yeah, a cry for help from me.
A cry for help.
Welcome to Butter No Parsnips. Every week on Butter No Parsnips, your hosts Kyle Imperator and Emily Moyers take you on an adventure through the weird, wacky, wonderful, and sometimes even wicked world of one wayside word. Strange characters, delightful bits, and general joyousness abound. Join them as they test each other's etymological expertise.
Hey everybody, welcome to Butter No Parsnips. I'm Emily Moyers.
And I'm Kyle Imperator. And Emily, we have an Ivy League word for you today.
Wow,
I hope
beautiful.
You are ready, excited.
I'm so excited. I feel so prestigious, so prodigious, so
the third one.
Vestigious.
Just wearing clothes?
Or like synonymous with vestigial.
I mean,
but I had to make it ishous. I had to make it ishous.
You had to make it ishous. It's going to be Emily's epitaph.
Yeah, that's right.
Her rip ishous epitaph.
Love rip ishous.
Rip ishous.
Kyle,
yes.
I want to have this Ivy League word.
Emily, your word today is Floccinaucinihilipilification. 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 That took up the whole episode.
That's good, because I'm not talking about this word, Kyle. I refuse.
Why do you refuse, Em?
Because this is one of those words that you just bust out as a running joke for how long it is.
Do you know what it means?
No. Of course not. I don't even remember how you say it, and you said it 30 seconds ago.
Floccinaucinihilipilification. It can be pronounced a million ways. There's really no right way to say it. The British pronounce it Floccinaucinihilipilification, but I like the way that I said it.
I'm so sad now.
Don't be sad. Be glad.
So this is a noun, and it means that something is happening. Something is becoming something.
Yeah, it's happened. It's becoming. Unbecoming, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. Latin? Greek? Both?
Latin. Lots of Latin in this episode.
Okay, cool. I mean, if any of the Latin words are shorter, I'll be happy. As for this one, I'm gonna guess that it is... Right, so this is like a medical event that's happening within your body. Ready? You take one drug, and within your stomach, it becomes a different drug. And so it treats one symptom, and then it becomes something else and treats a different symptom.
It's like a Willy Wonka drug.
Yeah, it's an everlasting Advil stopper.
First it treats the soup, and then it treats the turkey dinner, and finally it treats you don't want to get to the blueberry pie. That is bad news.
Yeah, that's the Floccinaucinihilipilification.
You'll get it by the end.
You become a blueberry.
You're way off base, Emily. You're way off base.
I need a hint so bad.
Your hint is Nietzsche. She's thrashing about, folks.
I don't like it. No, I'm saying no very forcefully. Okay, Nietzsche. I have to separate him from all the other ancient philosophers in my brain. Nietzsche was less
ancient,
aggressive, right?
Nietzsche was the angry philosopher. You've heard of the laughing philosopher Democritus, but here's Nietzsche, the angry philosopher.
Okay, I think this word means when you just drone it on. When like you start saying something pithy and then you keep talking too long and it becomes drivel.
You're not wrong. You're close.
Okay, I'll take it.
Phrase it in a different way. Remember what the word is, the fication part at the end.
I'm now thinking I'm further away than Kyle first thought.
No. You're on the right track, but you're still wrong. So I can't give it to you. I'm sorry, Em.
That's okay. I give up. I want this to be over.
Emily, Floccinaucinihilipilification, used often in a humorous context to mean the act or habit of describing, estimating, or regarding something as unimportant, of having no value or being worthless. So if you're poo-pooing something, that's nothing. That's just, if you're calling something drivel, you were participating in Floccinaucinihilipilification.
Gotcha. Are we going to get to the Nietzsche relation later, or can you tell me now?
Nietzsche was a nihilist. His big thing was nothing matters.
Okay. Gotcha.
Emily, let's talk about Floccinaucinihilipilification.
Can I just want to take another run at it, you know?
Yeah, go ahead.
Floccinaucinihilipilification.
Yeah, as good as any.
Whoa, it's the middle so hard.
It is.
It stops being letters.
Yeah. So the only story that we have behind the etymology of this crazy, crazy, crazy word is largely apocryphal, though there is anecdotal evidence. So to start off here, Emily, what do you know about grammar schools?
Grammar school, it's literally like a school
for grammar.
Right. Is it like a particular age group, or is it like boarding school?
The answer is yes and yes. It's been around for a long time. So the ages have changed and how it works have changed, but it started in England. The earliest schools appeared in the 6th century, as an extension of the church. And the intention was to teach Latin grammar in order to facilitate the learning of religious texts. So basically it was if we teach people Latin, they'll be able to become churchmen. Churchmen.
Yeah, priests, some would say.
Yeah, exactly. And so for a long time, grammar schools were solely Latin schools, at least until the usefulness of Latin began to wane in the 14th century. And then they started to branch out to other grammars. Yeah, long span, right? That's I can't do math.
800 years.
800 years? Yeah, right? So around this time, grammar schools began to emerge independent of the church. The first 3 were Winchester College in 1382, Oswestry School in 1407, and Eton College in 1440.
That one I know. It's like an Eton Mess.
What's an Eton Mess?
I think it's like a dessert, but it's after Eton College.
Oh, it is, and it's got strawberry and it looks delicious. It's like a parfait with cookies and confectioner sugar and a lot of whole heavy cream. We're going to all have Eton Messes tonight.
Delicious.
So, Emily, it's here at Eton College, the renowned boys-only public boarding school in England, where it's suggested that Floccinaucinihilipilification originates.
So they gave us a good dessert, but a bad long word.
I like it. You don't like it?
This word is also a mess. This is the other Eton Mess.
It is the other Eton Mess. Yeah, absolutely.
They gave us 2 messes. One you can eat, one you can't say.
I think it's just as sweet, but maybe that's just me. So, Eton was founded by King Henry VI as a charity school for 70 poor boys, as young as 5 years old, who would be primed for education at King's College, Cambridge, which was also founded by Henry VI. Specifically 70 boys. Like in the charter, they could originally they could only have 70 boys every year.
Crazy.
So like when someone left, they always capped at 70.
Yeah, you've been bumped in. Somebody died.
Really long waiting list.
Someone's like, I will give you thousands of pounds. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. We've got 70. Can't take you.
And also they were poor, like specifically poor boys. So They wouldn't take your money. Their education consisted of Latin and Latin alone. That is a quote from the Eton College website. From 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. with, I quote, a single hour of play allowed each day.
5 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is 15 hours. So 7 hours Latin, 1 hour where they got to speak English, which I assume was like the only playing they did was just speak in a language that was comfortable. And then 7 more hours of Latin and just a few moments of sleep.
What do you think they said on their hour English break?
I think they just said words. They were like, well, what's all the English words you can think of just to make sure that we don't lose our native tongue?
Aardvark.
Yeah, you got it.
I don't know. Pantaloons.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Salami.
You're virgin on Latin.
Oh, no. So, Emily, with all this Latin, we need someone to write Latin textbooks, right?
Absolutely.
Enter Latin grammarian William Lilly, not the astrologer.
There's 2 William Lillys.
There's 2 William Lillys.
Does he also spell it Lilly?
In modern day, it's spelled Lily, but back in olden times, there was no, agreed on spelling. So it was sometimes spelled Lilly, also sometimes Lylly.
Oh.
For those of you at home, the other William Lilly that we are referring to is an astrologer that we spoke about in our 100th episode, Centiloquium.
Give it a watch.
Beautiful, yeah, beautiful man.
Learn William Lilly's 2 excellent monikers. But tell me about this one, though.
This one was even more astounding, honestly. This Lilly was a well-respected teacher at St. Paul's, Britishly, at St. Paul's Cathedral.
Very good.
And he was friends with the Renaissance humanist thinkers Thomas More of Utopia fame and Erasmus, the latter of which described him as a man of no ordinary skill and a wonderful craftsman in the instruction of boys. So, Emily, Lilly's seminal text was entitled Brevissima Institutio, and it was originally published anonymously, as Erasmus, who was its editor, related, saying, Lilly, endowed as he is with too much modesty, did not permit the book to appear with his name.
He's what a guy, that Lilly. So humble.
So humble. He was just like, no. The other people worked on this. They didn't. He wrote most of it.
You think maybe he wasn't sure how it was going to be received, so he was like, don't put my name on it just yet. Let's just hold a minute and see how it goes.
The market is flooded with Latin texts right now.
I don't know how this is going to fly, Will it play in Peoria? I don't know yet.
He was saying that even back then.
That's right. Peoria, it was a place in his mind.
And then it eventually became a town in, New York.
Ohio?
Because it was stolen from his mind.
Yes.
Peoria.
That's really why he didn't want anything written with his name on it, because it was subject to theft.
Wow. Honestly, we should stop this podcast. People might steal from us. So his text, Emily, became widely used, reused, and revised in English grammar schools, and it became infamous at Eton College, where it was simply called the Eton Latin Grammar. That's how often they used it. Infamous, yeah. T.W.C. Edwards writes in his 1826 edition of the text that by that name, the Eton Latin Grammar, is implied merely the abridged manual of Mr. Lilly, which has for many years been successfully employed at Eton School to initiate boys in Latin. So we can say, Lilly, his text was read at Eton, they used his text for teaching, right?
The good old ELG.
The good old ELG, yeah. So the earliest relevant edition appears in 1513 with the following lines. Nihili vel pro nihilo penditur, nihili vel pro nihilo habentur literae, nauci, floci, pili, huius non facio.
So I think all of the parts of our word today were in there somewhere.
We're in there somewhere, right? Maybe not in the correct order-ish, but they were there.
Nihili, I felt like it showed up a lot.
So the text here offers examples of how these Latin nouns, nauci, floci, pili, and huius, can be used with verbs to evaluate something as worthless. By 1641, that text was revised and revised and revised to make more sense for the readers. So that same phrase was made more clear. It said in 1641, floci of a lock of wool, nauci of a nutshell, nihili of nothing, pili of an hair, assis of a farthing, huius of thus much, teruncii of 3 ounces, are peculiarly used with these verbs. I estimo, I weigh, pendo, I make reckoning of, facio, I make, as ego illum floci pendo, I esteem him as naught. Nec huius facio, qui mi pili aestimat, neither do I regard him thus much, who esteemed me as an hair.
That's how I esteem you, Kyle. As an hair.
As an hair.
So all of the first words that he listed are the beginning of this word. He said floki, nauki, hili, and pili, which I think are 4 of the dwarves in The Hobbit.
Yep. What are the other ones?
Kyle, Samantha. Clambone.
There
was one. Yep.
And Eton Mess, I think.
And Eton Mess. You got it. Those are all of them.
So basically, what he's saying is these are all ways to talk about nothing in Latin, right?
Yeah.
So let's break the etymology down further. So flocus meant tuft or wisp of wool, and it could figuratively mean a trifle or a thing of little importance.
I love that.
Isn't that great? We get our English floss and flock, as in a flock of wool, from flocus.
Floss.
But also, what has come to English is the word floccus, F-L-O-C-C-U-S, which is another word for a flock of wool, or the downy plumage of unfledged birds, or a cloud species with rounded tufts formed by dissipation from larger clouds. So those little puffy things that come off of the edges of clouds, those are flocci.
Flocci. Good.
Yeah, or
really,
floccuses.
all good. Love those.
Then there's naucum, a nutshell, which is derived from nux, N-U-X, meaning nut. That could also mean a trifle, something slight or trivial. And you may recognize that root in words like nucleus, which kind of just means little nut.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like nucleus. The nugget at the center of it all. Yeah.
Then there's nihilum, which means nothing or of no value. And it comes from the Latin phrase nihilum, meaning not a whit, not in the least. Literally, ne, not, and hilum, trifle.
Wow. That's cool.
We get words like Nietzsche's nihilism and annihilate from here, and also nil, as in nada or zilch. Nil.
Wow. That's fun.
And lastly, there's pilus, a hair, and hair, but it could also mean...
Like the rabbit.
No.
Oh, like
a hair.
Oh.
Yeah. It could also mean an insignificant amount, an iota, or a least amount.
Like
and this
just
was
a
brought to English through capillary, meaning head hair.
That's fun. But it's also like we say like just a hair, meaning like just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. So, Emily, the widely circulated origin, whether or not it's true or not, is that Floccinaucinihilipilification was created by the wandering minds of Etonians as an inside joke that only those begrudgingly familiar with Lily's text could possibly understand.
That's fun.
Isn't that fun?
So, remind me what this word means, the ification.
Floccinaucinihilipilification means the act or habit of regarding something as unimportant, as being worthless.
So, esteeming you as a hair is
Yes.
Floccinaucinihilipilification.
You got it, Em. You got
I'm
it.
getting better every time.
You are.
And breaking it down helped, because now I can
Good.
think about
I'm
all
glad.
the bits of the word.
Good. The word must have broken free from the institution, though, at some point, because the earliest English usage that we have is in a 1741 letter from the poet William Shenstone, who did not attend Eton College. He was talking about his friend, the poet William Somerville, and he said, "For whatever the world might esteem in poor Somerville, I really find, upon critical inquiry, that I loved him for nothing so much as his Floccinaucinihilipilification of money."
Beautiful. I also love that this is an Oops All Williams episode.
Oops, all Williams. You got 3 of them.
But 4 if you count the one that we mentioned before
Yeah.
from 100.
William Lily, 2. So, Emily, the word, as you so appropriately reacted at the beginning, is a long word.
Yes,
It is notable for being the longest non-technical word in major dictionaries.
Oh.
And at 29 letters in length, it is surely nothing to sneeze at, right?
Yeah, I can think of a longer one, but I don't know what it means, and I assume it is technical.
It probably
Well,
is
I guess
technical.
it's not.
What is that word?
The hippopotamonstrosis quipedaliophobia. It just means fear of long words.
It is long. It's not in dictionaries, though.
It's kind of
That's the difference there.
A colloquial word.
And the difference here for Floccinaucinihilipilification is that, as its namesake suggests, it's not really taken seriously as a word, and it is most often used today to impress others or to clutter lists of longest words in English, right?
Yeah, sure.
In fact, Merriam-Webster doesn't even consider it a word and has denied it an entry, claiming that it is rarely or never used in a sentence. Isn't that
Wow,
sad?
so sassy. Is it in the OED?
Yes, it is.
I guess because that's just like English pride right there.
Just, yeah.
They said, this is an Eton word. This is for
our
us.
word. The longest word in English, only an Etonian could come up with that. That was Boris Johnson, because Boris Johnson, Etonian.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, he's an Eton Mess too.
Yeah, right. But Emily, I feel it's a pity to treat the word as but a floccinosity, or a matter of small consequence.
Floccinaucity. Okay.
It's not a good word, yeah. Aside from its use in quiz shows and political speeches, which is where it's mainly used, it's actually been used quite seriously in a few different contexts, at least more so than other obscure words that we've covered. For example, I found it being used in psychiatric texts to describe the habits of those with low self-esteem.
To Floccinaucinihilipilify themselves?
Floccinaucinihilipilificate themselves. Yes.
Ficate.
Yep. Also, sci-fi writer Robert Heinlein liked it so much that he invented 2 other permutations of the word, Floccinaucinihilipilificator and the feminine Floccinaucinihilipilificatrix.
Catrix!
Yeah. Isn't that good?
Gosh. Everything I find that Robert A. Heinlein has done, I love.
It's good. He's great. We love him.
He's a perfect human being, I'll say that with no knowledge of his
truly is.
biography.
And another perfect human being who we've spoken about on the podcast, novelist and wet man Sir Walter Scott, even thanked Shenstone for seeming to invent the word, though he mistakenly spelled it as Floccinaucinihilipilification. What are you going to do?
Don't put another pronunciation in my head, Kyle. I can't do this.
He was 1/29th wrong.
That's still a passing grade.
Emily, Lily's text was deemed so important that both Henry VIII and Edward VI ordered the book to be used in all English grammar schools, which is undoubtedly an influence for its use at Eton College. Also, Shakespeare relied on the text so heavily that he references it in 4 of his plays.
Hilarious.
Isn't that crazy?
That's where he got all his Latin.
William Lilly. We can thank William Shakespeare. Wow, there is another William here.
Another one.
We got another one, boys. So, Emily, though it may seem easy to trivialize this seemingly self-referential word, let's do the world a favor and not Floccinaucinihilipilificate William Lilly's influence on both Latin and English grammar.
Yeah, sure. Right? And you're not about to ask me to assist in that pursuit, are you?
I am, Emily. And here's the question I have for you today. Emily, can you use Floccinaucinihilipilification in a sentence?
Okay. Wow. Wowie wow.
Wowie wow.
Okay. Boy, Kyle, this word right here is such a doozy. It almost makes me want to Floccinaucinihilipilificate all of our previous words.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Yeah? Can you use the fication part? Can you use it in the...
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to word the sentence in a way that allowed me to use the pification.
You could say... It might lead me to the Floccinaucinihilipilification of all our former words.
Of all our previous words.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good job, Em. That's a hard one. You pronounced it correctly, which is great.
I did.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
That's a word, Em.
It's a crazy word, Kyle, but I loved it. Good. But boy, that's a doozy.
It's a doozy.
In a big way.
In a big way. In a big way. In a big way, but a good way. Emily, let's play a big but good game. A maxi game, if you will.
Love it. A maxi game.
Your game is called Grammar School.
Grammar's cool.
It's cool. Emily, though Latin may be a dead language, de mortuis nil nisi bonum dicendum est. Nothing must be said about the dead except the good.
Wow. Beautiful.
So for this game, I'm going to give you a bank of words that I've created, me personally, from Latin adages collected by Erasmus himself. Okay. And you are going to have to match these words to their definitions.
These made-up definitions?
These made-up definitions based on the meanings of the actual phrases. Ready?
Gotcha. So this is a breaking down.
A breaking down. Your 5 words are athenasululation, hercomulgation, lituceration, superfornication, and surdopederation.
All right. So, Kyle, you said you made up these words, but I think these are all Simlish.
Habadooby.
Wabadiboo.
Wabadiboo. That's what it is. All right. Here's your first one, Emily.
Okay.
This new word from a phrase which literally means to plow the seashore means the action of wasting one's effort.
To plow the seashore? Is that hercumulation?
Think of your Latin, Emily. Think of your Latin.
I'm trying. To plow the seashore? Surdopederation?
Is that your final guess?
Yeah, I guess so.
Incorrect, Emily. The correct answer was lituceration. Comes from the Latin phrase arare litus, which means to plow the seashore, or figuratively wasted labor. Arare litus was wasted labor. Arare, like aeration of a farmland, right?
Oh, but that's the second part. That's
arare.
The aeration.
Litus aeration. Well, that's the verb. It's switched in Latin, right?
Sure, I guess.
Okay, here's your next one. This word from a phrase meaning to milk a male goat essentially means the act of attempting the impossible.
That one's, yeah, right? That one's hercomulgation.
You got it, Em. Hercomulgation.
Hercomulgation is how you Americanize that, yeah.
That is how I would Americanize it.
Because her scene is goat-like, right?
Yeah, you got it, Em. Yeah. It comes from the Latin phrase mulgere hircum, meaning to milk a male goat, but figuratively it meant attempting the impossible.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we could also just use the phrase like, well, that's like milking a male goat, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, your last one, Emily.
Okay.
This word, from a phrase meaning to belch before the deaf, basically means the act of taking a useless action.
I mean, I'm not sure I can break down why, but I think it's surdopederation?
Wow. Yeah, you got it, Em. That's right. You got it right smack on the dab there.
It couldn't be the one with Athena, and it couldn't be the one that's super fornication.
Well, it could be, but you'll see. I'll tell you why. So, surdopederation comes from the Latin phrase surdo opedere. Opedere, in this sense, I think can mean like belch or fart.
Delightful.
And it was just a figurative phrase used to mean a useless action. Surdo opedere.
Just for clarification, so all of these phrases were real, but the words you made out of them are fake?
I made English words, fake English words from these Latin phrases.
Got you. But the phrases are real.
Real. Just like with
up.
Floccinaucinihilipilification and pili.
Right.
The phrase, yes. Those other two in the bank, Athena's ululation, means the act of putting in a lot of effort into a fruitless endeavor. That comes from the Latin phrase ululas Athenas, meaning to send owls to Athens. And the other one, superfornication, it does not mean fornicate in the sense that you think. It means the act of sitting on the toilet. And it's from the Latin phrase super fornicam, which meant on the lavatory. And this is not from Erasmus, but from the other Renaissance thinker, Thomas More. And on the lavatory is where he accused Martin Luther of going to celebrate Mass.
Wow. Hilarious. Fantastic. Yeah. A great game. Great word,
Thank you,
Kyle.
Em.
Great episode.
Thanks. I hope that no one Floccinaucinihilipilificates the effort that I put into this.
Kyle puts in so much effort, and everyone should remember that. And everyone should also remember that you can find Butter No Parsnips on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Butter No Parsnips Podcast, and on TikTok at Butter No Parsnips, and on YouTube at Butter No Parsnips Podcast, and on the web at bnppod.com. And if you liked today's episode, consider giving us a 5-star rating or review wherever you heard us.
And if you really like today's episode, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/butternoparsnips. Donating $5 or more earns you a shout out either on social media or here on the podcast.
Thanks so much to all of you. You help us make what we make.
And with that, I've been Kyle Imperator.
I've been Emily Moyers, and this has been Butter No Parsnips.
Butter No Parsnips is produced by Seth Glicksman, Emily Moyers, and myself, Kyle Imperator. The main and accompanying themes were composed by Kyle Imperator.